one game that I'm actually very excited myself to see is the Vanishing of Ethan Carter, and finally getting to play it. As a PC player that does not have a strong enough PC to run anything bar Galactica, it's quite nice to see this on console. Luke, how are you? And tell us a little bit about the PS4 version of Ethan Carter.
The history behind the PS4 version is pretty interesting because it is the same game, but at the same time it's completely not. And the reason for that is we have changed the engine. So for the PC, the original version of Ethan Carter, we used Unreal Engine 3. When we started making the game, Unreal Engine 4 was in early alpha, meaning not production ready. But right now it is production ready, and it's actually the only Unreal that out of the box supports the current generation of consoles. So we kind of had to switch to Unreal Engine 4, and it worked for us beautifully because we were recreating the game from scratch actually, and learning the engine at the same time. And it's the easiest way, I think, to learn a new engine when you already know what kind of game you're making. So you know everything about the game, right? So, and what we found out is, to our surprise, that this version is actually better than the original. And the reason for that is Unreal Engine 3 was a great engine for loading a combat arena, fighting, and then loading the next combat arena. It was not an open world engine, and Unreal Engine 4 is an open world engine. So what happened with this PS4 version is that basically the hitching is gone, the frame rate is very smooth and stable, and the internal management of all assets, items, objects, textures is much better. This also allows us to introduce a better save feature to the original PC version. And what I think PC players might find interesting is that we think this version is so much better that we will be re-releasing Ethan Carter UE4 version, obviously for free to everybody who already purchased the game, sometime after the PS4 version.
So then, let's talk about those differences. I mean, a better save system. Is that just it? What more can you talk about?
No, it's not just it. So there's sort of like two kinds of changes that we are bringing to this version. The first kind is just better technology underneath, modern engine, so modern effects and modern internal management of assets. All these kind of things, combined with the fact that actually PS4 for sure has 8 GB memory, every single one of them. We can actually put all textures in, all the high-res textures in, so that makes sure that the game always looks great. So these are the technical aspects of it that are great. But the other thing is, obviously now we had half a year of feedback. So we will be taking a good look at the game. At this point, when we have 100% recreation, we will be taking a good look and tweaking some things. And I promise you, I will not George Lucas the game, so that's not gonna happen. But I think a couple of features require tweaking knobs a little bit here and there. So
I was going to ask about that. Having that ability to go back into a game that has been released and sort of think about it through the viewpoint of that feedback. Was there anything that surprised you guys that perhaps the audience, the players came up with that you hadn't expected?
The biggest surprise to me, I think, was that there is a scene in the game, and I don't want to spoil it, obviously, but it's a jump scare. There's no way around this. It's a jump scare, and we did it sort of to mock jump scares, because I think jump scares are a very cheap way of inducing terror into the audience, but people not only did not see it as mocking jump scares, they were mortified. And we had people dropping the game sometimes at this point because they were too scared to continue. They thought to themselves, okay, so if this happened, then probably something even worse may happen. So I had a video of a guy who, after that jump scare, was basically motionless for 30 minutes and refused to move forward. So, and I understand why. The way the writers describe the game, it's that it's about the clumsy unease. So it's very atmospheric, and you feel dread. There's something disturbing about it all, but it's not clearly horror. There's no monster chasing after you, for example. I think. So
You just cannot talk about Ethan Carter. It's the Fight Club mechanic, right?
It's the Fight Club mechanic. So, and people fell in love with that, and they did not want the jump scare. But of course, what do you do about this when you have enough percentage of the players who claim that it was wonderful? So we will have to make a decision about this part, and we'll see what we'll do about this.
It's quite clear cut. It's either you guys decide keep it or just lose it.
Or maybe tweak it so it stays in the game, but it's not as jump scary, right? So the other interesting thing that happened when we were recreating the game is but that's internally for us, more interesting internally for us, is we realized how much work we put into the game originally, because every second of the game, every square meter of the game was so tweaked, and there was a purpose behind it all, and there was so much discipline that right now where we deviate slightly, we just feel bad, there's something wrong. So I think out of all games that I've made, personally, it's the one that was most thought out. And that was an interesting discovery when we have the version that's almost there, but that almost makes all the difference in the world.
I just want to talk to you about live streaming the game, about people viewing through Twitch and such like that. For a game like Ethan Carter, where the mystery is integral to the experience, I mean, does that feel counter to what you want people to experience with the game, that live streaming sort of takes away from that?
I mean, aren't people tired with these screamers? It's like, I mean, I can't talk about this because it's so fake. It's obvious that these people played the game before, and everybody knows they played the game before, but they're screaming. It was funny for the first year, maybe 2, but after 5 years of this, I'm not really enjoying that very much anymore. But the thing is, so we kind of made a game that went into the opposite direction, right? We call this game weird fiction horror. There is a horror word there, but we still went from, and even there is even a little bit of macabre in the game. We displayed that in trailers, right? Head bashed in and some blood, but we still went for that clumsy unease, rather than being truly terrified and fearing for your life. So for everybody who listens, no, you cannot die in that game, I think. So
the amount of knowing glances you're giving me out of the side of your eye, I like that. Well, for people that haven't played on PC, for PS4 owners that are going in blind, how's the best way to approach this? Just read nothing about it at all, and like you were showing me during the demo, it's very much just you have to find out what's happening as you explore the town.
That's one of the core ideas behind the game, which is, people often talk about exploration and discovery, right? That this is something very cool about video games, that you explore and you discover things. But there is no discovery without effort. So if that discovery happens because it was on your way, that's not really a discovery, you were guided by the designer. And some games like that are totally fine. But we felt like we want the players to really appreciate the discovery, and own it. So that's why we do not guide you in this game. There is this really brutal warning sort of in the opening of the game. It says, this game is a narrative experience that does not hold your hand. And again, it's not maybe not the kindest way of putting it, but we wanted that very strong message in the beginning that you are on your own, but you're not unfairly on your own. It's not that you don't know what to do, completely, and it's like, okay, how to even play this game. It's fairly simple when it comes to controls. And if there is new button to use, we tell you that there is new button to use. But everything else is for you to discover. And I think I know this was a very important element of the core design.
Well, sort of wrapping up then, when can PS4 players play the game?
Right now, Ethan PS4 is in alpha. That means the game is playable from start to finish. But looks ugly in places and there are bugs. So we want to make sure that these things are gone, and then we'll move to beta, meaning in the old school sense of beta, because right now beta is anything. Beta for us is the team believes the game is done. So when we have that, we give it to Sony QA. I think a couple of months. I think it's like 3 or 4 months, and then we're done, because it's you know, it's PS4, it's console. It's not like with PC that you finish the game 2 hours before the upload and then you release it. You need to go through certification, and which is good for the players, because it makes sure it makes for a better experience, basically. So we want to go through the certification and QA and language versions and territories and so on and so forth. So it's gonna take some time, 3 to 4 months from now.
And sort of just touching on Unreal Engine 4 just to finish up, you're saying you guys are tinkering around with it for this game. Has the engine surprised you at all? Has it given you sort of thought as to what you guys might do next?
Very good question, and the answer is yes. The thing about Unreal 4 is that it's way more oriented towards real-time everything, real-time effects, real-time lighting. So Unreal Engine 3, on the other hand, was about pre-calculation, especially for the lighting with the global illumination and their system called Lightmass. So these things are, by legacy, are still present in Unreal Engine 4, but you can introduce basically real-time lighting, shadows and everything in the game, and that affects the way everything looks. We actually had an option to do this with Ethan, but we didn't go for it because the game looked a little bit too real. And we want to have certain mood from Eden, certain atmosphere. But for the next project, we will be going in that direction, and I have to say that Unreal Engine 4, I mean, really delivers in that area. So it's not only like everything is real time, which obviously produces great environments, but it's also very efficient, very optimized. So well, that's good news for everybody, I think.
Listen, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you very much.